Hello ladies and gentlemen from Year 9. Welcome back. Glad to see you using the resource again. Now at this stage we've got two animals smacked onto a new habitat, okay? So I've got the orangutan and the pelican, but there are more things that I can do to make them blend better or to look, I guess, more unified. So one thing that you can do is to play around with the colors. So I'm going to make sure that I'm clicked on the pelican. So over here, what I should have already done, but I haven't done, is I'm going to rename these layers pelican, so I know when I've got the pelican, that's the layer I'm working on, and I can switch that on and off. Likewise, I want to make sure that I've got the orangutan layer labeled. Now, the orangutan is notoriously red, so I want to keep that red and I want to work it through the pelican. Now, there's one way of doing that, okay? Now, the shortcut key, and when you are using Photoshop, you'll often hear about shortcuts, and it refers to little key commands that you can use. You can press Command U on a Mac or Shift U on a PC, and you should get which it's not happening for me. Bear with me one sec. Okay, so the problem was you do have to press Command U, but you've got to make sure you're on a layer. So if I've clicked the pelican layer, I press Command U, and this screen comes up and says Hue Saturation. Now what I can do is I can adjust this here, and you can see it's changing the color. Have a look at the greens we've now got in here, but I want it to be red to match the orangutan. So I'm going to keep playing with it until I find a red. Okay, so all the way over here, and I should find some type of red swatch. There we go. Now that's not too bad. Kind of fits in with the orangutan. I'm sure I can find a better one, but for argument's sake, or just for the point of this demonstration, that color is going to do just fine. Now you've also got saturation here. You can move it into the positives, and you can see there's more color. So saturation talks, same in art terminology, saturating means saturating with color. So you can see we've gone to plus 79. So you can see how much color and how much more lively that is. Have a look at all the color that's happening over here. Likewise, I can take color out of it. I can desaturate. And that, I think, looks a bit more realistic, although realistic may not be the best term when we're combining an orangutan and a pelican. Okay, also I've got this option here to go lighter or darker. Okay, the lighter, obviously a bit more detail comes through, but I'm going to leave that at about 0 actually, and you can type in a number if that works for you. Now the other option is the filter tool, which you can have, actually not the filter tool, the Liquify tool. Now this is all noted, so just so you know, if you go up the top to filter and you go to Liquify, this is all noted in the Photoshop tutorial page. This is outlined step by step, so make sure you keep reading those notes. Now you can see I've just clicked filter Liquify, and just the pelican comes up. It just shows the layer that you're working on. Okay, over here I've got brush size. I've also got brush pressure. Now you can play around with that. You can make your brush smaller, you can make it larger. It's up to you and what type of effect you're going for. But if I make it around 166, I was going to go for 150, that's fine. Over here I've got different tools. Forward warp tool, I've got the reconstruct, the pucker, the bloat, and the push left. Now I'm going to work with the forward warp tool, but you can work and experiment and play. Now what this does is you can start dragging elements of your animal. Now you might need to do this to make wings bigger, or to make legs, or a beak, or anything bigger. And that doesn't have to look quite like that, but you can just keep playing around. And the smaller your brush, the more detail you can just work on smaller parts, or you can work on specific feathers, and then brush pressure too. You don't have to have it 100. Hit restore all and it'll take you straight back to the start. Okay, so if you're not happy with the work you're doing, just go to restore all and it'll change it. But play around with a big brush size. You can see I'm moving the whole image. Okay, starting to really fatten out this pelican. Now that might be exactly what you want, might be the opposite of what you want. But just familiarize yourself with these tools. So this here is the reconstruct tool, and I'm not having much luck on that one there, so I'll try this tool here. Might come in handy. So this is the pucker tool. and see how I'm just holding down and it's shrinking the size. Okay, now you guys can do this exact same. If I don't want that to be such a fat pelican, I'm just making it a bit smaller and I'm changing elements. Now you might need to do this to make it suit the other animal, to make it more of a realistic hybrid. Okay, so I'm just doing that now. For argument's sake, I'm going to press OK, and you can see what it's done there. Okay, so that's just another little handy tool. Again, if you're unhappy with things, go to Window and then History. Okay, Window, History, and you'll see everything here is itemized. Okay, so this is like a edit undo. If I don't want that Liquify step going ahead, what you can do is you can make sure it's highlighted. You can just go back, or if you can click on it, or you can delete it. Okay, now that's how you get rid of step by step. But you can go back to any stage of your project and delete a step. Okay, if Control Z doesn't work in Photoshop because it only goes back one step, make sure you start using your history tool. Any other questions, please come and see myself. Otherwise, feel free to Google or YouTube how to do a certain aspect on Photoshop, or keep following the Photoshop tutorials that I'm posting. Good luck.